Gunshots echo, a body drops, and in the middle of the chaos stands John Wick, not rushing, not panicking, just breathing in that slow, controlled rhythm of a man who never leaves anything unfinished. The room is full of destruction, but his mind is locked on one thing: completion. Because for him, unfinished things don't fade. They follow you. They stay in your head. They become noise you cannot silence. And that's the truth most people ignore. The most dangerous thing in the world is not a weapon. It's an unfinished story. Now strip away the suits, the underworld, the reputation, and go back to the root of it all. Long before the legend of John Wick was feared, there was something far more human driving everything: a psychological tension, something deeply embedded in how the brain works. In the 1920s, psychologist Zeigarnik noticed something strange. Waiters remembered unpaid orders perfectly, but the moment the bill was settled, the memory disappeared. The conclusion was simple but powerful. Unfinished tasks stay alive in the mind, while completed ones vanish. Now take that idea and stretch it across a life like John Wick's. What you don't finish becomes what defines you. It's not the victories that haunt you, it's the almost. The life you almost protected, the peace you almost kept, the love that was taken before it felt complete. That's where everything shifts. Because when John Wick loses the last connection to a peaceful life, it isn't just grief, it's interruption. It's a story cut off before the ending, and the human mind cannot accept that. That's where the Zeigarnik effect stops being theory and becomes emotion. Unfinished love turns into obsession. Unfinished peace turns into rage. And suddenly the past isn't behind you anymore. It's pulling you back with force. That's the first spike. Pain. But pain alone doesn't create a legend. Tension does. Because every incomplete thing in your life becomes an open loop, and your brain keeps returning to it, replaying it, refusing to close the file. Just like in John Wick, where one act triggers a chain reaction that cannot be stopped, because it was never about revenge, it was about closure. As the story escalates through John Wick, Chapter 2, John Wick, Chapter 3, and John Wick, Chapter 4, what you see isn't just action, it's a mind that refuses to leave anything unresolved. Across the saga, with over 300 plus kills, every move is precise, every action calculated. This is not chaos, this is completion in motion. Because the brain doesn't crave comfort as much as it craves resolution. That's the second spike, control. When life breaks, completing something, anything, restores a sense of power. It's why people binge watch entire series without stopping. Why unfinished work keeps you awake at night. Why even a small unchecked notification bothers you more than a finished task. Your brain is wired to close loops. Now imagine turning that into a weapon the way John Wick does. Every mission becomes an open loop. Every goal becomes something that must be completed. Not someday, not later, but now. And that shift changes everything, because quitting no longer feels like rest. It feels like pressure, like something inside you is still unresolved. That's how discipline is built, not from motivation, but from tension. As the story reaches its peak, John Wick stops being just a man and becomes a system, a force driven by one rule: finish what you start. Every movement becomes sharper, every decision faster, every hesitation disappears, because incomplete things slow you down, and he refuses to carry that weight. This is the identity peak, the moment where obsession becomes legend. But here's where it breaks, because when everything in your life becomes about completion, you lose the ability to stop. The same force that made John Wick unstoppable also isolates him, drains him, traps him in a loop where nothing is ever enough because everything must be finished. That's the downfall, exhaustion, loneliness, a life where even pain must be completed, even revenge must be completed, even suffering cannot be left halfway. And now the question changes, not how to finish everything, but what is actually worth finishing. This is the transformation. Because true power isn't just about closing every loop, it's about choosing which loops deserve your energy. You don't need to complete everything, only what matters. Let the rest stay open. Let them fade. Because not every unfinished story is a weakness. Some are freedom. That's the final realization. The Zeigarnik effect makes you remember what's incomplete, but wisdom teaches you what to let go. And that's where you separate yourself from the chaos. Because unlike John Wick, you don't have to chase every unfinished story. You get to decide what ends and what doesn't.